Okay, I would like to call the meeting to order. This is the City of Fort Atkinson Plan Commission meeting in person and via Zoom on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 at 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Highfield.
Present.
Commissioner Kesnick, I do not see. Commissioner Lesko here.
Here.
Commissioner Schultz.
Here.
Thank you. Manager Lemire.
Here.
Engineer Selly.
Here.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is review and possible action relating to the minutes of the July 26, 2022 regular Plan Commission meeting.
Move to approve the minutes of the July 26, 2022 regular Plan Commission meeting.
Highfield, second.
Thank you. We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comments from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda, number 4, review and possible recommendation to the City Council relating to an application for annexation of a property along Sunset Avenue to the City of Fort Atkinson. Engineer Selly.
Yeah, thank you. This is an annexation of a single parcel. Sunset Avenue is kind of to the south boundary of the city of Fort Atkinson. This particular parcel does have water and sewer in the road in front of the house and has both laterals stubbed into the property in the right of way. The homeowner requested the annexation, so it is by unanimous consent, which is the easiest method of annexation. The city has reviewed it and has no concerns with it. They will of course, hook up to city sewer and water upon annexation, and there is a deferred assessment on the property that the homeowner has indicated they'll take care of upon annexation. The application has been submitted to the state for their review. I believe they have 30 days from the date of receipt of that to respond back to us, and we should be approaching that here fairly quickly. This will also appear at the City Council for 3 readings, as it is an ordinance of annexation. So Planning Commission will get 1 review of this and City Council will have 3. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions that the Commission may have on this matter.
Any questions from the Plan Commission?
I should note the zoning for this parcel will be, I believe it's SR2, single family residential 2, which is consistent with its existing use.
Any questions or comments from the Plan Commission? Okay, I would entertain a motion to recommend the City Council perform 3 readings and adopt an ordinance annexing the territory along Sunset Avenue to the City of Fort Atkinson.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Schultz.
Second. Highfield.
Thank you, Commissioner Highfield. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is review and possible action relating to a site plan review for Builders First Source SPR 2022-06. Engineer Selly.
Yeah, thank you. This is the Builders First Source on Janesville Avenue, kind of an aerial photo shown here on the computer screen. There's an addition of a similar sized building for all intents and purposes back in this corner area that is proposed. I believe these 2 buildings are intended to be raised, although that's not really part of our Planning Commission approval process, but it is part, I think, of the project overall. And there will be a loading dock added to the end of this existing building here. The city staff reviewed the request. There was just a slight difference, I guess, in this particular request. The zoning code is not necessarily set up for this particular building type that we're putting in here. This is a building that has open sides on it for obviously the storing of lumber and various building materials. our code requires that buildings of this nature have some architectural elements on the front and sides of the building, but certainly that doesn't apply in this particular situation. So we arrived at a very good compromise, I think, of on the street facing side, or what portion of the building will be visible by the public, requiring some of those architectural elements in the form of some brick masonry along the bottom, but then otherwise allowing the sides to be open as noted without those elements. In exchange, we've asked for the vegetation or the landscaping plan that would normally be applied around this building to instead be applied out in the front of the building itself along Janesville Avenue. That's where the kind of the aesthetic improvements are intended to be anyway. And BFS has agreed to that. So I think we've made it work with making sure that BFS has provided their addition in the rear yard of their facility, and also kind of getting a little bit of an aesthetic lift to the site out in front. There were a few conditions related to the approval that I'll note here. Most of these are just related to some of the landscaping. In there we have our local Blodgett's doing the landscaping, and so we've been working with them to kind of finalize some things related to the landscaping elements out front and the points, fairly minor things that we can work through. The rest of these are waiving some things. So in this situation, the pedestrian access and bicycle requirements, there aren't any existing sidewalks along Janesville Avenue to connect to. So the requirements for pedestrian access to this particular building aren't quite ready yet. Although hopefully with the Janesville Avenue work that we're planning on doing, we'll change that here in the near future. And then the lighting plan, we expect that building will be lit in some fashion. It is tucked back in the back there, so the lighting plan is kind of a minor part of the overall plan approval, but still something that we'd like to see submitted before we go to construction. No curbing will be required around the new proposed buildings. Stormwater management improvements there, and again, the city has required or asked, I should say, and frankly, all have complied that it come before Planning Commission for some stormwater improvements to be made. In this case, we're creating a few basins out there to intercept some of the runoff, hopefully take some of the sediment out of that runoff before it gets into the various ditches that convey it to the Rock River. So again, successful on that front, and appreciate BFS being amenable to that. The landscaping, as I noted, some minor elements associated with that on the front. And then some of the drainage associated with the loading dock. Now that is proposed to be designed by others, but when that design is complete, I would like to see how that drainage plan is conceived for the dock, just to make sure that we know where the water is going off site there. Erosion control drawings noting the location of the silt fence. I did speak with MSA regarding this on the phone late last week. I think we have a pretty good plan set up for that. In fact, I may have even missed this on the drawings. I haven't had a chance to go back and look, but again, these are minor things. We don't put things in front of Planning Commission for approval that are significant. So although they appear numerous, they are simply checking the box in order to make sure that this project can get going with the short season we have left. And then signage plans, if desired. I would assume BFS is likely not going to be changing their signage plans for the project. So with that, seemingly long list of conditions, but again, minor ones, I'd be open to discussing the project for commission and answering any questions. And then we can certainly include any additional conditions here within our approval that might be necessary.
Any questions from the Plan Commission?
Nope.
Could you show the aerial view of the site? Please.
This one here.
Yes.
Yeah, let me zoom into that. We can see it a little closer here. There you go.
Thank you. So the two buildings that are closest to the proposed building will be raised, is that correct?
Oh, these two. Okay, I pointed incorrectly. These two buildings will be raised.
Are those the older two of the four?
Could you come to the podium and just state your name and address for the record and make sure that green light is on just for the people on Zoom to hear what you're saying?
Yeah, it should be green.
Green.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, press,
Try
just press that
pressing it
button.
again.
Zoom folks don't know you're speaking. Budget cuts. Right?
Christopher Acker, 3861 Mallard Lane, Janesville, Wisconsin, 53546. And I'm the general manager of Builders First Source here in Fort Atkinson.
Thank you. So can you just reiterate which of the buildings, existing buildings are going to be raised?
So the two that would be raised would be the two that Andy's highlighting right now, the one with the green roof and the one north of that. And they are the more dilapidated looking buildings in the yard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the Plan Commission or comments? Okay,
I would, oh, I was just going to say that it seems to be in a good place and in good hands. And with that, I would move to approve the site plan for Builders First Source SPR 2022-06, subject to the conditions outlined by the city engineer.
A second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions from the Plan Commission? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item is adjournment.
Move to approve Highfield.
I will second adjournment.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned at 4:12. Thank you.
Thank you.